Hi, welcome back to the Amoretti Test Kitchen. We have a really great fall recipe today for you. One of my personal favorites. It is a vanilla butter apple pie. This is a vegan and gluten-free recipe that we're featuring today. So let's get started. So to start, we're going to put in our gluten-free flour. You can use any gluten-free flour that you like. I like Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1. It tends to work really well. And if you're not gluten-free, you can use the regular flour. So this is 2.5 cups. I doubled the recipe because I'm going to be doing top piece of the pie as well as bottom. Okay, and then to that we're going to add a couple of tablespoons of sugar, a little bit of salt. I'm just gonna get this kind of incorporated. And you can either use, if you'd like, you can use a crust cutter in a large bowl to get that kind of consistency that you're looking for with your pie crust. I'm just gonna use a dough hook, and the KitchenAid take some of the work out for me. So we're gonna get that going. Okay, so to our dry ingredients, we are going to add our cold butter. Keep the butter as cold as you can for as long as you can. That's going to give you a nice flaky crust. So just keep, if you are mason pausing, getting everything ready together before you start, you'll just want to keep the butter in the fridge until you're ready. And you also don't want to like overwork your dough so that the butter gets warm. You really want that butter to stay so cold. All right, get that going. And then to that, we're gonna add 5 tablespoons of ice cold water. This can kind of change based on where you are or the type of flour that you're using. So just kind of keep an eye on the consistency of the dough. And 5. So you're just gonna wanna keep scraping down the sides of your bowl to make sure that the dough hook is able to catch all of that flour for you. It does look like I'm gonna add another ½ tablespoon of water just because that's how this batch is looking. Okay, and then the last thing that I'm gonna add to our dough is kind of like the special secret ingredient, especially if you're working with a vegan dough and gluten-free. This is the Amoretti vanilla butter extract. It is one of my favorite extracts ever. When you put something with this extract in the oven, everybody, all those noses are gonna sniff right into the kitchen because they're gonna say, what in the world are you cooking? It smells so good. So we're gonna add that. Alrighty, so our dough is all ready to go. We're just gonna put this into some saran wrap and let it be cool down in the fridge for about 2 hours. We want a good dough that we're able to work with. So now we're gonna assemble our filling, which is the apple pie filling. So we're gonna start off with a pan, warm it up. We're gonna put in some apples. So 5 large apples. If you have smaller apples, maybe 6 or 7. And then just some butter. This is vegan butter. I'm using 2 tablespoons. We're just gonna cook these down for a little bit, just let them soften. So just for now, don't add anything else, just the butter and the apples, and let them do their thing. Now, once your apples have cooked down a bit, we can start adding in some of the good stuff, which is gonna be 2 tablespoons of sugar. It's a pretty low sugar dessert, actually. And then we have some fun spices here, some cinnamon, nutmeg, and salt. We'll stir that around and we'll let it cook down a little bit longer so we can get that nice texture for our pie. All right, it looks like everything's coated. So I'm gonna turn off the heat. And I'm going to add a cornstarch slurry so that we can thicken some of the sauce inside of this apple pie. Also some lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice to brighten it up. And then a little bit of that cornstarch slurry. Oh goodness, it just smells really good. It smells like fall, and it is time for us to assemble our pie. So I'm just gonna let this kind of hang out and cool off a little bit and get our pie shell ready. And we're gonna do this, it'll be fun. So I've just taken our dough out of the fridge. It's really firm, and I'm gonna press it right into the pie mold that I have here. If you'd like, you can roll it out on a piece of parchment paper and then flip it over and put it in. I just find this method to be a lot easier. Just work it right into the pie tin. And so you're just gonna wanna make a small crust and then work it all the way up the side so you get that really great traditional apple pie. This is a new method, but it is I would say, kind of a necessity when you're working with gluten-free, vegan recipes. Sometimes you just have to try something new. It's not as gluten-free dough, because it doesn't have gluten, it doesn't stick together the same way that a regular dough would. So this is just, I've found, the best way to make this pie. So our dough inside of our pie tin is ready to kind of push off to the side for a few minutes. You can also put it into the fridge if this process is going to take a long time, because remember, we want our dough to stay super cold so that it's really flaky when it bakes, but this only takes me a few seconds, so I'll do this really quickly. So I'm just going to use the remainder of the dough that I have to make a nice decorative top. I'm just gonna roll this out to probably, I guess, 1/4 inch thick, and just use your gluten-free flour or your regular flour if it's not gluten-free, and just roll it out. And then I'm gonna use cookie cutters to put like a fun shape on top. So I'm gonna use hearts just because that cookie cutter was readily available and I think it's really cute. But if you have like a turkey or an apple or something fun, or an animal, whatever you and your family like, just use that cookie cutter to put a few shapes on top. Or if you are feeling, really ambitious, you could do a lattice top. You could roll it out and you can do the lattice, but I'm gonna use cookie cutters today. Alrighty, I'm gonna do a few different sizes. So from here, all I need to do is pour in our apple filling and top it with our hearts, and then we're ready to put it in the oven. So let's do that. So I'm just gonna take my apple mixture. It's had a little bit of time to cool, not much time, it's still warm. Pump that in there. And then I'm going to top this with my little pieces, my little heart pieces. Maybe a nice Valentine's, maybe cherry pie would be good for Valentine's. You can use this dough recipe though. It's a really great vegan gluten-free dough recipe, especially with that Amoretti vanilla butter. I'm telling you, the flavor and the smell, like the aroma, it's incredible. Okay, so this is ready for the oven, 350 degrees. We're gonna put it in there for about 35, 40 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna cut into this pie. I'm so excited. This is really probably my favorite dessert since I became a gluten-free vegan. And the sweetness is just amazing, especially with that vanilla butter extract. It gives it a warmness, a roundness to the pie. And there's a tiny bit of sweetness, not much sugar, but most of it is coming from the apple. So a really, really great treat. I hope you get to take this to one of your family gatherings. Thank you so much for joining us for this fun fall recipe. And if you liked this video, I hope you hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more fun fall recipes. You can also follow us on social media for our most up-to-date behind the scenes and all of our favorite recipes at Amoretti on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. Thanks, bye, see you next time.